Hi everyone, I'm Mumu from Susan's family. Today, I'll teach you the knitting method for the whisper of hibiscus. For this electronic tutorial, search soso姐.com on the website to view it. This garment comes in multiple sizes, all divided into front and back pieces and sleeves. Let's start with the front piece. Use the alternate cable casting on method. First, knit back and forth. It's divided into the hem, body, and shoulder parts. Now let's take a look at the chart. Here, I'll use the pattern chart of any size as an example. The final chart should match the actual project you have. One square on the chart represents one stitch, which corresponds to one loop while knitting. Blank squares indicate knit stitches. A horizontal line represents a purl stitch. For knit stitches, K2 tog. In actual knitting, you work on 2 loops. And after completion, it becomes 1 loop. Here, it's represented by 1 square. For the knit stitch where you spo, you can understand it similarly. A circle represents a yo stitch. This indicates a K1 TBL stitch. The crossing stitch pattern means to switch positions and match accordingly while knitting. 2 rows in a V shape indicate a KSL stitch. A red V indicates a double stitch. It represents yarn over short rows knitting. Arrows indicate the direction of knitting. For the right side, always read the chart from right to left. For the wrong side, read the chart from left to right. Note that on the wrong side, you need to knit the opposite stitch pattern shown in the chart. When working in the round, always read the chart from right to left. Blank areas with an omission symbol indicate omitted stitches. Here, the charts for 2 sizes are combined into one diagram. The shoulder parts have different stitch patterns for the last few rows. Everyone, please make sure to knit according to your respective sizes. Below, please watch me demonstrate the specific knitting method. The hem starts with alternating cable. Then work single ribbing back and forth. Pay attention that the first and last stitches on the right side should always be knit stitches. On the wrong side, correspondingly knit purl stitches. In the middle section, alternate between knit and purl stitches. For detailed knitting methods, refer to the video demonstration below. First, take the corresponding yarn. Make a slip knot with the yarn. If there are no special circumstances, leave about 10 centimeters at the start. This makes it convenient to weave in the ends later. Pick up a straight needle with your left hand, or one end of a circular needle, and insert it into the loop. Slightly tighten it. This is the first stitch. Hold the other straight needle with your right hand in a pencil grip, or the other end of the circular needle. Wrap the yarn once around the pinky finger of your right hand. Use your ring finger and middle finger to gently press the yarn. Place this strand between your index finger and middle finger. This is the basic posture for knitting. If you're alternating between knit and purl stitches while casting on, after the first stitch is cast on, there are 2 scenarios here. One way is to count the first stitch as a purl stitch. One scenario is that the first stitch counts as a knit stitch. These 2 methods depend on the specific situation. In most cases, we count the first stitch as a purl stitch. Start the second stitch as a knit stitch. Place the right needle above the yarn. Insert downwards into the loop on the left needle. Use your right index finger to hold the yarn. Yarn over and pick up the yarn. Pull it through, and place it on the left needle. Don't pull the yarn too tight. Otherwise, it will be difficult to pick up stitches later. The second knit stitch is now complete. You can see the yarn is below. Next, start the purl stitch. Place the right needle below the yarn. Pass upwards through the space between these two loops. Pay attention, this is the position between the loops. Do not pass through the loops. Then yarn over. Pick out. Pull it through, and place it on the left needle. This is the third stitch. This stitch is a purl stitch. You can see the yarn is above. Continue with the knit stitch starting. Place the right needle above the yarn. Insert between the loops. Yarn over and draw through. This is the fourth stitch. Now, do one more purl stitch starting. Place the right needle below the yarn. Insert between the loops. Yarn over and draw through. This is the fifth stitch. Continue to alternate between knit and purl stitches. If the yarn is above, start with a knit stitch. If the yarn is below, start with a purl stitch. Keep casting on until you reach the required number of stitches. In another case, count the first stitch as a knit stitch. Then make the second stitch a purl stitch. After that, just alternate between knit and purl stitches. This is the method for alternating cable when casting on. When we cast on, if the diagram does not specify whether the first stitch is a purl or a knit, we can determine it based on the chart. Read the chart from left to right. For example, here the first stitch on the left is a knit stitch. So, the first stitch, when casting on, will be a knit stitch. The second stitch will be a purl stitch. The second stitch when casting on will be a purl stitch. Then, alternate between knit and purl stitches. For another example, in this chart, the first stitch on the left is a knit stitch. So, the first stitch we cast on will be a knit stitch. The second stitch is also a knit stitch. So, cast on one knit stitch. The third stitch is a purl stitch. So, cast on one purl stitch. Then, alternate between knit and purl stitches. We can also take a look at the texture after casting on. The stitches further back indicate that the last one cast on was a purl stitch. I have fewer stitches here for demonstration. The focus is on explaining the method. According to the chart above, you can see that, after completing the cast on, we start knitting the single rib pattern. The single rib pattern is generally a texture of alternating one knit stitch and one purl stitch. Start with work row 1. Row 1 is worked on the right side. Read the chart from right to left. Work all stitches identical to the chart. Pay attention. For different projects, the beginning and ending stitches of the fabric piece may vary. You can simply follow the pattern when working. If the beginning and ending differ from the sample, you can first watch me demonstrate the knit and purl stitch techniques. Then refer to the chart and continue knitting. The first stitch on the sample chart is a vertical line symbol. This indicates a knit stitch. When knitting, take a straight needle with your right hand, or the other end of the circular needle. Wrap the yarn once around your right pinky finger. Gently pinch the yarn between your ring finger and middle finger. Place the yarn between your middle finger and index finger. Before working the knit stitch, place the yarn under the right needle. This means behind the needle. Then insert the right needle from left to right into the first loop. Pay attention, not between two loops. Yarn over and draw through. At the same time, release the loop from the left needle. One knit stitch is now complete. The second stitch is a horizontal symbol. This indicates a purl stitch. Note, when alternating between knit and purl stitches, make sure to place the yarn in the corresponding position before stitching. Therefore, before making a purl stitch, bring the yarn to the front first. Then do the purl stitch. Insert the right needle from right to left into the loop. Yarn over and draw through. At the same time, release the loop from the left needle. One purl stitch is done. The third stitch is a knit stitch again. Before making a knit stitch, make sure to move the yarn to the back first. Then insert from left to right into the loop. Yarn over. Draw through. Another knit stitch is completed. You can see that, after finishing the knit stitch, the side facing you will form a braid-like texture below. On the other side, it looks like a horizontal line here. The fourth stitch is a purl stitch again. Place the yarn in front of the needle. Insert from right to left into the loop. Yarn over and draw through. Another purl stitch is done. You can notice that, after finishing the purl stitch, on the side facing you, below the loop is a horizontal line. From the back, below the loop is a braid. Continue to alternate with one knit stitch and one purl stitch. Pay attention. Each time, make sure to place the yarn in the corresponding position before stitching. That is, before knitting a stitch, move the yarn to the back first. Before purling a stitch, move the yarn to the front first. If you can follow the texture, you can also knit according to the texture. The loop in the front is a knit stitch. The loop at the back is a purl stitch. When you see a knit stitch, do a knit stitch. When you see a purl stitch, do a purl stitch. Continue with this method, and finish the rest of the row. The edge stitch is knitted according to the chart. Now, the first row of the sample swatch is complete. If you're not quite sure how to count rows, after finishing the first row, you can place a marker on any braid on the right side, making one mark. This makes it easier to count the rows. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a safety pin or paperclip as a substitute. This also serves as a mark on the right side. Next, work row 2. Row 2 is worked on the wrong side. Read the chart from left to right. You need to work the stitches opposite to what's shown in the chart. That means knitting the knit stitch symbol as a purl stitch, and working the purl stitch symbol as a knit stitch. The sample chart starts with one knit stitch symbol. I'll work one purl stitch. Note: when working a purl stitch, make sure to bring the yarn to the front of the needle before stitching. Next is one purl stitch symbol. So work one knit stitch. You can also follow the texture to knit. If you see horizontal bars underneath, that means it's a purl texture. So work a purl stitch. If you see braids underneath, that means it's a knit texture, so work a knit stitch. Horizontal bars mean purl stitches. Braids mean knit stitches. Continue to follow the texture while knitting. Finish the second row. The texture of the edge stitch might not be very clear. Refer to the chart while knitting. This way, the second row is completed. Then work the third row. Similarly, you can follow the texture below to knit. If the texture of the edge stitch is unclear, refer to the chart while knitting. Then continue knitting the same stitch pattern as the one below throughout. Horizontal line, work a purl stitch. Braid, work a knit stitch. Continue to finish this row. The last stitch can also be worked according to the chart. For every row after that, regardless of the right or wrong side, you can knit according to the texture below. If you see a horizontal bar below, work a purl stitch. If you see a braid below, work a knit stitch. This is the method for knitting single ribbing. A few rows of single ribbing have been knitted on this swatch here. We can count the number of rows on the right side. The loop at this stitch marker is formed by the starting chain. One chain stitch equals one row. There are 5 chains here, plus the loop on the needle, which also counts as one row. Therefore, we have knitted a total of 6 rows here. This is the way to count rows in single ribbing. Next, we will learn about the body. Divide from right to left into pattern A, pattern B and pattern A. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific knitting method. Start with row 1. Here, I will demonstrate using a sample swatch. Refer to the chart. Begin with 2 knit stitches. One knit stitch K2 tog. Move the right needle from left to right, and go through both loops at the same time. Work 1 knit stitch. This completes the knit stitch K2 tog. From now on, we'll call it K2 tog. You can notice that the loop on the left side is on top. Continue with 1 yarn over, bring the yarn from front to back over the right needle. The yarn over is done. Continue with 1 knit stitch K2 tog. One yarn over. Continue following the chart to finish the stitches corresponding to group 1. The stitch count for the swatch is random here. After completing the last yarn over, knit 1 purl stitch. Pay attention to bring the yarn to the front before knitting. Then do 3 knit stitches. One knit stitch K2 tog. 1 yarn over. Repeat these 2 stitches. Then knit 1 more purl stitch. One K1 TBL stitch. Bring the yarn down. Insert from the back of 1 loop. Knit a stitch. Complete the K1 TBL stitch. Continue with 1 purl stitch. 1 yarn over. 1 knit stitch SPO. First slip 1 stitch on the left side, as if to knit but do not knit it. Knit 1 stitch on the left loop. Then slip the unknitted stitch down. Complete the knit stitch SPO. Hereafter referred to as knit SPO. You can notice that the right loop is on top. Continue downward and refer to the pattern to knit section 2 of pattern B. Finally, work pattern A. End with 2 knit stitches. Row 1 is done. Continue with row 2. The wrong side. First, work into each purl stitch in sequence. When you encounter a yarn over, just work it as a regular purl stitch. When you come across the knit texture, which is the purl section of pattern B, match it with a knit stitch. You can also follow the texture to work your stitches. Purl texture corresponds to purling. Knit texture corresponds to knitting. Work K1 TBL stitches as purl stitches as well. Finish this row. Row 2 is completed. For the following rows 3 to 10, work them using the same method as the first 2 rows. Pay attention to the stitch techniques and positions to avoid mistakes. Refer to the pattern chart to complete it. On row 11, you will encounter a 3/3 RC and a 3/3 LC. Please watch the demonstration for the specific technique. The 3/3 RC involves a total of 6 stitches. First, transfer the first 3 stitches to the cable needle. Place it behind. Then from the front, knit the next 3 stitches on the left side as knit stitches. Next, knit the 3 stitches on the cable needle as knit stitches. The 3/3 RC is done. For the 3/3 LC, it also involves a total of 6 stitches. First, transfer the first 3 stitches to the cable needle. Place it in front. Then from the back, knit the next 3 stitches on the left side as knit stitches. Next, knit the 3 stitches on the cable needle as knit stitches. The 3/3 LC is done. For the remaining rows of the body, the technique is similar to the part demonstrated earlier. Everyone refer to the pattern and complete it. This concludes the explanation of the body section. Next, we will learn about the shoulder parts. It is divided into the left shoulder part and the right shoulder part. The left and right here refer to the left and right when the garment is being worn. Start by working row 1, then continue knitting the right shoulder part. After completion, place the stitches on hold. Next, join yarn and knit the left shoulder part, then place the stitches on hold. Please watch as I demonstrate the specific knitting method. Start by working row 1, knit from right to left. There is no pattern group in this sample swatch. In practice, everyone refer to the chart for knitting. In the middle, you will encounter 3/1, 3 LKC. Here, I'll demonstrate the technique with a sample swatch. First, transfer the 3 left side stitches to the cable needle. Place it behind. Similarly, transfer 1 stitch from the left side onto the cable needle. Place it behind. Knit those 3 left side stitches as knit stitches. You can slightly tighten the yarn. Then knit the 1 stitch from the back as a knit stitch. Pay attention, the loops should not be twisted. Finally, knit the initial 3 stitches as knit stitches. The 3/1, 3 LKC is now complete. Place a stitch marker on the left side of the middle stitch to mark it. This will help differentiate between the left and right shoulder parts. Continue following the chart to finish this row. Note that the sample swatch does not include the pattern repeat. Row 1 is done. Next, you need to separate and knit the left and right shoulder parts. Following the previous yarn, start by knitting the right shoulder part. Keep knitting until there is 1 stitch remaining before the marked stitch position. Refer to the chart. This is the tip of a slip stitch. There is no horizontal symbol here. It indicates a knit stitch. On the wrong side, simply work purl stitches. The second row of the right shoulder part is done. Continue with the third row. This is above the slip stitch. Place the yarn behind the fabric piece. Pick up the loops from right to left. The slip stitch is done. On the left side, it's the tip of a slip stitch. Correspondingly, work a knit stitch. Continue to follow the chart and finish this row. Pay attention to the neckline edge, and don't forget to decrease stitches. The third row is completed. Now proceed with the fourth row. Refer to the chart and stop 2 stitches before the stitch marker. You've reached the corresponding position. On the left side, it's a slip stitch. Here, place the yarn on the wrong side of the fabric. Pick up the loops from right to left. Work the slip stitch on the wrong side in the back. Continue knitting using this method. Knit 1 stitch as a purl stitch behind. The fourth row is done. Now work on the fifth row. When doing the slip stitch, keep the yarn on the wrong side of the piece. Then work the knit stitch. Continue following the chart for knitting. The fifth row is complete. For the following rows, continue knitting back and forth. At the neckline position, work the slip stitch in the corresponding position. Also, decrease stitches at the corresponding row numbers. At the ending, you need to work yarn over short rows on the left side. Pay attention to the last few rows of the shoulder parts for different sizes. Refer to the corresponding chart for knitting. For the method of yarn over short rows, please refer to the demonstration in the video below. Finally, finish with the closing stitch. Please watch the demonstration. The yarn over short row technique with held stitches. For example, on the first row, I turn the work after 5 stitches. That means you knit normally at the beginning, and when there are 5 stitches left, you stop knitting. Here, I finished the first row. Turn your work. Continue with the second row. At the start of the second row, work a double stitch. Regardless of what stitch it is, always place the yarn above the right needle. Slip the first stitch. Then tighten the yarn. If the next stitch is a purl stitch, you need to wrap the yarn around. Bring it to the top before purling. If the next stitch is a knit stitch, just knit it directly. Here, I'm purling on the wrong side. You can see that. For the second row, turn back 5 stitches on this side. That means stop knitting when there are 5 stitches left at the end. After completing it, turn the work. Continue with the third row. Start with a double stitch. In other words, slip as if to purl. Tighten the yarn. If the next stitch is a purl stitch, wrap the yarn again, bring the yarn to the top and knit. If the next stitch is a knit stitch, just knit it directly. Here, I'm doing a knit stitch. Sometimes, the number of stitches for each section of yarn over short rows are identical. Sometimes, due to patterns or other reasons, the number of yarn over short rows will differ. You'll need to follow the chart instructions specifically. You can see that, at the end of the third row, you need to turn back 3 stitches. Remember, the double stitch counts as 1 stitch. That means you skip these 3 stitches. Now, the third row is complete. For the fourth row, you also turn back 3 stitches at the end. Likewise, this double stitch counts as 1 stitch. After each yarn over short row, you need to start with a double stitch. Now, the fourth row is done. Sometimes, you need to shape the neckline while doing yarn over short rows. You can refer to the pattern chart for actual knitting. I will continue to finish all the rows that require yarn over short rows in this chart. Now, I have completed it. After finishing the yarn over short rows, the corresponding third to last row of this chart is completed. Next, you need to decrease rows. That is, row number 9 here. Start by decreasing on this side. I will knit all stitches as knits here. When you encounter a double stitch, just knit it as one stitch. The decrease on this side is now done. For the last row, you need to decrease on this side. Here, I will purl all stitches on the wrong side. When you encounter a double stitch, here you also treat it as one stitch and purl it. This is the yarn over short rows technique with held stitches. Next, I will demonstrate the method for suspending stitches. After completing one side, transfer the loops to a separate straight needle or circular needle. You can also thread them together with yarn. When you continue knitting later, you can transfer them back onto your needle. Thread the yarn from right to left. This completes the process of suspending stitches. Up to this point, the explanation for knitting the right shoulder part is complete. After finishing the right shoulder part, proceed to knit the left shoulder part. Row 2 is worked on the wrong side. Refer to the pattern chart, it starts with the symbol for knit K2 tog. Here, you need to work P2 tog on the wrong side. First, join the yarn at the edge on the wrong side. You can thread the yarn through a sewing needle. Tie a knot in a secure position closer to the inside. Try to keep the edge looking neat and tidy. After confirming it's secure, hang the yarn. Place the needle below the yarn. Insert from right to left through these two loops. Work one purl stitch. The P2 tog is now done. You can flip it over and take a look. The loops on the left side are on top. It creates the texture of knit K2 tog. Continue following the chart to finish this row. Row 2 of the left shoulder part is complete. The row numbers for the back of the left shoulder part are similar to the right shoulder part. Work slip stitches along the neckline edge, decrease according to the corresponding row numbers, and with yarn over short rows on the right side. Finally, finish off the stitches. Everyone, refer to the pattern chart to complete it. That concludes the explanation of the front pieces knit.